Hi, this is Mujahid Said Khan. I am alive and well in Karachi. I've been MIA because of my book tour and the cricket, but I'm trying to get back in action. And this is the first of what may be, if you guys like it, a series I'm calling Pakland. So, top of the chatter is Imran, or is it Melania, or is it the Donald, or is it all three of them? Okay, so that's just kidding about that. But honestly, the Trump Imran summit clearly has been an optical success. I wouldn't call it a major diplomatic coup, but there have been marginal gains, and this is why. Apart from a couple of ludicrous claims like Khan Saab, that Pakistani media is freer than it's ever been and freer than Great Britain's. I would say that Khan Saab was thoughtful, he was earnest, he was charming. His wardrobe, his chappals, his body language, spot on. We saw different Khans in action. At Capital One, he was the classic Jalsa politician. He dug in, went for the anti-corruption jugular, which he's made a living off doing. He's gained power doing that. It was a Desi Khan giving a Desi political feast to a Desi audience. Some of it, yes, was cringy, not the stuff of statecraft, but it was a politically savvy move because the turnout forced something unprecedented from the Department of State, which was to tweet about a diaspora event and encourage Pakistani Americans to join the bandwagon of turning this rather bulky, rusty US-Pak bilateral ship around. So most diaspora events are done after all the bilats are done. This was smartly planned to give Khan that momentum. So Khan, the politician, then, by the time he reached the White House, had become Khan, the statesman. And that's what he did at the USIP as well. There he was in his element. He was confident. He was self-assured. But doing this new, let's not do business, let's do respect line. And that's what I'm calling the non-transactional relationship line, right? Because as interesting in all of this, of course, by the way, a little segue about Trump. Now, clearly the man was either charmed or convinced to go off the U.S. establishments and the U.S. bureaucracy's beaten track. The no-names briefing, which came out from the White House 24 hours before the Khan-Trump meeting, that went out the window. And I wouldn't say now that there's camaraderie between these two, but there's definitely chemistry. And they're both mercurial, polarizing alphas or omegas. And that may have caused Trump, who is now embarrassingly in a corner because his own press is now going after him about that India-Modi conversation, Kashmir mediation comment. But basically, end effect, a lot of people in New Delhi South Block, which is where they do their diplomacy from at the MEA, they clearly got an aneurysm when the K-bomb was launched. And yes, we haven't heard a US president saying in forever that I would love to mediate. That just hasn't happened. So politically less important because I don't see that happening in the longer run. India still has a lot of political muscle with the US and economic muscle. But yeah, definitely an optical victory in the short run for Khan. But that's what I'm saying. Let's be honest. There's no major breakthrough in this visit, right? We haven't landed some great mega bucks deal. There's no aid coming. There's no weapons coming. There's no fighter jets coming. But that's because, and here's the thing, this is the new policy. The new policy is that the new policy is not the old policy. That's the new policy, right? Because the old policy was this client customer policy, right? So what we're asking for now is not jets and money, but what we're towing the line, this new line, which, by the way, started a couple of years ago when General Bajwa hit the scene. And I heard him say this to a packed house at a think tank in London a couple of years ago, that to the Americans and about the Americans, that we don't want your money, we just want your respect. That's the new black. And Khan has epitomized and actually materialized that new policy. He's articulated it in his closing remarks at the USIP. That's what Khan was really going for. So, again, big break from the client customer, you pay us the money, we give you the honey argument. But all of this is not happening because Khan's a very good-looking, strapping Pathan from Miyawali. This is not happening because he's a rock star athlete turned politician. This is happening because we have been delivering on the Taliban. We have been delivering on the Afghan talks. We have been awarded for our good behavior. As recently as 2 weeks ago, the Taliban, for the first time, conducted unprecedented face-to-face meetings with representatives of the Afghan government. This has not happened. They've talked to everyone. They've talked to the Chinese, the Russians, the French, the Americans. They've never talked to our friends, the Afghans, but they did. And that has really changed the game in Kabul. So, clearly, Pakistan had a lot to do with it, was appreciated, but I'm a little skeptical about this as well because I think that Pakistan's pull, while a lot of people believe Pakistan has a lot of pull with the Taliban, I would say that, yeah, it is also, the brand is really bigger than the bullet there. So Pakistan has pull with the Taliban, but limited pull. So I would be really interested to know, though, that because I wasn't there, I would have loved to be a fly on the wall in Washington while all of this is happening, because clearly from the tweets we're getting and the press we're getting, Khan's managed to shake up Washington. In a very short time, he's forced anti-Pakistan skeptics to actually admit that he's made quite an impression. And in Washington, I was just there recently, where Pakistan is not really the name of a country. It's kind of like a four-letter word in diplomatic circles. So he's turned that ship around, and it'll be interesting to see where that goes, because that's diplomacy. That's smart, and that is the beginning of statecraft. That is the beginning of this new Khan we hadn't seen. Now, last remarks. Will this solve Kashmir? No. Will it bring global peace? No. Will it break this natural US-India alliance? No. But will it give Khan haters a heartache? Yeah. And will it give Khan international legitimacy, which he clearly needs, considering his domestic policies and much criticized and critiqued economic and press freedom policies, for example? Yes, it will give him all of those things. It will give him international legitimacy. But on a sign-off, by the way, next one is going to be on General Bajwa. We have been watching him for a while. Very different character from the last chief, leading from behind, being behind the leadership. Interesting balance he's maintained. He's had a busy couple of days as well. While Khan was doing his thing, General Bajwa was riding backseat, and then he moved to shotgun. But considering his meetings at the Pentagon, at the DOS, he even visited a famous American cemetery. It'll be interesting to see what the Bajwa machine has churned out. While Khan has been bowling from one end, it'll be interesting to analyze what Bajwa's been doing, what he's been spinning from the other. So I'm back in town. I will, inshallah, see you all very soon. Give me some feedback. I haven't done this in a while, man. I'm getting rusty. I want to jump in the pool and grab some barbecue in a bit. Kind of hungry. So, catch you guys soon. Bye.